Welcome back to A Legal Studies Teacher Reads the News. Bit of a different one today. I'm not actually criticising anyone, which sounds a bit strange, but often that's what ends up happening in media articles that are looking at things. This is more of an idea of the state government taking steps in order to protect consumers in a different way. What I'm talking about here is the green light given by New South Wales government for 24-hour trading. What am I talking about here? Let's have a look. Supermarkets and pharmacies in New South Wales have been given the green light to trade 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the near future. Changes to the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act will come into effect immediately, Planning and Public Spaces Minister Rob Stokes announced. These orders cut red tape so we can move quickly and decisively to ensure the health, well-being and safety of our community during this time, Mr Stokes said. The focus of our first order is giving people flexibility to visit their local supermarket, pharmacy or corner store at any time of day if those retail premises choose to operate for extended hours. Mr Stokes said the move would ensure the community would have access to food, medical supplies and essential household goods whenever they needed it. So this is COVID-19 led, obviously, this reform that we're seeing here. And what's happening? Well, obviously you've got consumers who are worried about going to the shops and maintaining social distancing. And so one of the things that people are worried about is, well, when are the shops open? If the shops are open for a smaller period of time, more people who are going to need to go to the shops are going to be worried about getting in there. And so what they've done is push for the shops to be open for longer, the opportunity for the shops to be open longer, so that people feel they can go at different times and shop and get what they need. So he continues. Stores will also be able to dispose of their waste at any time of day rather than during restricted hours to dispose of the significant and sudden increase in stock. So this is in response to some of the huge runs that we saw on different types of goods, toilet paper, etc. When people were being stuck inside, they weren't going to work, etc., etc. Some people, I'm sure, were doing their ablutions in work time offices and on the, getting paid for it, and now they're stuck at home. So we had a whole bunch of things that the grocery stores were just struggling to keep on the shelves. And he's basically saying we're loosening some of the regulations around when they can dispose of waste, when traffic trucks we're going to see can come in so that they can help keep things on the shelves and make sure that we as consumers have access to them. The minister said the order also provided greater flexibility for home-based businesses to operate anytime and expand their businesses as necessary. For those businesses operating out of home, we are facilitating more flexible operating hours and increasing the number of people working together from 2 to 5, providing they can abide by the social distancing rules. So once again, this is opening up greater flexibility. This is important as more and more people work from home and need flexible working arrangements. Supermarkets have undergone a sea of changes in the past few weeks as customers have swarmed to buy products, most notably toilet paper, paper towel, tissue, pasta, canned goods. The rise in demand prompted both Coles and Woolworths to introduce an elderly-only hour to the start of the day. In other words, basically from 7 to 8, you had to have a senior citizens card, pensions card, in order to get in, and that was to help out older people who just weren't able to compete with those younger, fitter types like myself who are running in and grabbing the paper. And the dropping of nighttime curfews for delivery trucks has allowed supermarkets to restock overnight, boosting supply. Coles said the more flexible trading hours were welcome, even though it has reduced its trading hours to allow staff to clean and restock. So we've got this question of, and Woolworths did it as well, they closed early to allow everyone in the store to do a full clean, to fully restock for that 7 o'clock opening hour. And now what have we seen? They've now got the opportunity to open for longer. And as COVID-19 reduces, hopefully this will help stop spikes happening by people going and doing their groceries because they'll be able to maintain social distance. Last week, Coles reduced trading hours nationally to give our team members the time and space to extensively clean our stores and replenish the shelves for customers the next day. In particular, this ensures cleanliness for our elderly and vulnerable customers attending our community hour in the first hour of trade. We appreciate the flexibility around trading hours and thank the federal, state and local governments for their rapid action to help us continue to serve customers during these challenging times. A spokesperson for Woolworths said the company welcomed the government's decision to provide much needed operational flexibility. We're looking at our trading hours week to week and will continue to adjust them as needed, they said. The government's recent move to waive delivery curfews and now allowing the collection of waste from stores 24/7 will deliver immediate practical benefits for our shoppers and store teams. Okay, so I'm looking at this from a consumer's point of view, and a whole bunch of questions immediately spring to mind. So first of all, we've got the role of the law in encouraging cooperation. So straight away I'm asking, well, how is this a good example for this theme? And really it's showing that the government's working with businesses, with the big supermarkets here and with other businesses to try and encourage people to comply with what they're supposed to be doing. And there's this question of compliance and non-compliance. Basically, you had regulations that will make it difficult for the grocery stores, for the big supermarkets, to actually keep things on the shelves. And so what have they done? They have loosened those regulations. So we're talking about the role of law reform here and saying the right of a consumer. What's the right of a consumer? A safe, secure place to shop. And so straight away we're seeing, boom, this is an example of the law working with business to try and ensure that consumers are protected and are safe when they shop. Old people have a kind of a nice, clean environment to get to in the morning without crazy people running in and having fights over the toilet paper. At the same time, we're giving the opportunity for them to open for longer to allow for greater social distancing in future if needed. So it's this question of effective legal and legal responses, non-legal responses, in achieving justice for consumers. We should be able to buy toilet paper if we've got money for it. We should be able to buy pasta and canned goods. And how is that going to be achieved? By loosening up those regulations. By a truck no longer being forced to stop at 10 p.m. It's not allowed to come in. Now, at any time of night, it can come in and restock the shelves, and Woolies can pay extra shifts so people can come in and ensure the next day there's more than enough stock for everyone that wants it. So this is kind of like the developing need for consumer protection. It's a developing idea as COVID-19 hits Australia. We're thinking through what's this going to look like. Also, you'd have a look at what have we got here? State governments, organisations kind of helping out. The role of non-government organisations, so different grocery and supermarket groups trying to help out, trying to ensure that this can happen. All right, so this is the Coles spokesperson, but I'm sure you'd have like the supermarket and Choice getting in there as well and asking remedies, consumer remedies. So how do we ensure a safe, secure place? We do this. We loosen the restrictions. We ensure as a supermarket that we're doing everything we can to help that out. And so that's an example of a really clear, good law reform that has occurred to help protect consumers in this COVID age that we're living in. Hopefully, that's a great contemporary issue that you can talk about and discuss with your class and think about when it comes to the effectiveness of legal and non-legal responses in achieving justice for consumers, which is maybe a feel-good story compared to most of the stuff that we have, which is businesses trying to rip off consumers.